Welcome to Laugh and Learn Blab with Really Social. It's the second Tuesday of the month, which means we're talking about what's happening in social media. Oh my gosh, there's a lot happening in social media. Many things. It's fun because when I schedule these, I usually try to anticipate what we could talk about that is happening in social media. By the time we get around to these topics in these times, new things have happened and the entire thing needs to get checked. So it really is just kind of this ever-evolving topic. So we've got much to talk about today. I'm really quickly going to post in the sidebar. I do have some Blab ground rules, pretty boring, very basic, all in the interest of everyone having a good time and actually staying on topic. I'm cool if we deviate off topic a little bit, but this isn't like, say, a real estate blab. This is a social media blab. This is about what's happening in social media. So I'd love it if everybody could stay on topic so we can talk about what's happening in social media, not the latest trends in Colorado real estate or something like that, just so we're clear. Also, I am very keen on having extra people come into the blab because nobody just wants to hear me talk the entire time. Of course I could, but that's my ego talking. But I would love to get some more feedback from everybody about these topics we're about to tackle. So all I ask is that you engage a little bit in the sidebar. It's already going between Social Media Melody and Socially Powered. You don't have to have socially in your handle to go ahead and interact in the sidebar, and we're going to get rolling. We have a lot of topics that have happened in this last week. So I want to go ahead and open it up with the first one, which is really kind of made Twitterverse go a little bit crazy. And we're going to talk about the Twitter algorithm. So what happened was there are some blab and ground rules. That's right. Well, you got to have those blab and ground rules because I don't want somebody to just swing in and think, well, is this about like coffee? No. Unless it's social media coffee. But let's talk about the hashtag RIP Twitter, which evolved last week after some rumors came out that Twitter was going to implement an algorithm for the Twitter feed. Now, for those who aren't aware and who don't use Twitter, which is surprising since you probably got here via Twitter, Twitter does not currently use any algorithm other than that tweets appear in order. The only time they wouldn't is if someone has promoted a tweet and it's appearing toward the top, it's a sponsored tweet that's on your timeline because somebody wants you to take action on it. But for the most part, you've got chronological tweets. So it came up that an algorithm was going to come out that was going to somehow give priority, lineage, if you will, to the tweets in your timeline. If you're not familiar with the algorithm, think about it this way. Facebook right now, which tends to do this every few weeks, it seems like, has an algorithm which basically decides what order you're going to see Facebook post in your feed. It is incredibly annoying. I don't know if anyone else feels that way. Please sound off in the sidebar. It's annoying because I know as a sports fan, I sometimes will be in my feed looking at posts from sports teams. I will see an update for what the Avalanche score is at the end of the second period. And then shortly below that, which seemingly happened, above that, is that it says, oh, we're getting the game started. They're not happening in order, and it's incredibly annoying. I don't like that. One thing I like about Twitter is that your tweets are in chronological order. So you can basically scroll down and say, well, I'll just go backwards and follow the timeline. So that was coming out. Has anyone heard about the RIP Twitter algorithm that wants to hop in? Feel free to call in if you've engaged on the sidebar. But this was some interesting news that came out this week. Right. We want chronological. What was interesting was that after that came out, and I saw some news stories today where apparently there were a couple of Twitter users that had seemingly nothing in common, was that they got a rollout of this Twitter algorithm on their Twitter feed. We're kind of wondering what the heck was going on with it, and then suddenly it vanished. Around the same time that Jack Dorsey, who was at the handle @Jack, came out and said, don't worry, we have no plans to roll out a Twitter algorithm to your feeds this week. I thought it was interesting how he said this week, who's to say that this is not coming soon, and is going to possibly change the algorithm. Again, we're talking about the hashtag RIP Twitter, the algorithm that allegedly was going to hit our feeds, and Jack, or whatever happened, has rolled that back because everybody freaked out. Anybody got any comments or thoughts about Twitter and how that might change things? What would have happened if we had signed on Monday morning And suddenly we're noticing, well, wait, I'm seeing a tweet from 2 hours ago right here, but the rest, then the next few are from the last few minutes. What the heck's happening? I don't know. I know Twitter's trying to do a bunch of different things. Obviously, the 10K limit, which we have hashed out about before, is happening, and that has not been dialed back or been, reduced into like, oh, that's just a rumor. That's actually a thing that's coming, which nobody really knows how that's going to work or what it's going to do to impact our feeds. But I have heard a lot of people speculate that Twitter is just really trying to become Facebook, which if you're talking implementing an algorithm that's going to change the order of the tweets to something that Twitter decides you want to see, I think that is a legit complaint or a concern that Twitter's not being Twitter, that we're not letting Twitter be Twitter, that we're trying to somehow become Facebook and trying to compete. I get that. But I don't ever feel like Twitter needs to compete with Facebook. But if anyone wants to opine in the sidebar and let us know, what do you think about this hashtag RIP Twitter? Did you actually use the hashtag in the last week to let people know your thoughts? Like, oh, well, there goes Twitter. This is going to happen. Obviously, the algorithm did not get rolled out, which is good. But I don't know. It seems like they were pretty intent on doing it, particularly since a couple users saw it in their feed. Then it suddenly just went away with no explanation, and they didn't know why that got picked or anything. So I think it's a concern to keep in mind and to try to keep an eyeball on. I have now started following, I wasn't following him before, I'm now following Jack, @Jack on Twitter, because I kind of want to see what's going on, and I'm really curious as far as like how this is going to affect everything. So again, I will open the seat to anyone who wants to hop on and talk about hashtag RIP Twitter. If Twitter's your thing, and if you're concerned as I am about how it's going to change how you use Twitter, and we have a couple more topics to talk about that are rolling out for Twitter that are also still going to be impacting us. But they're not. Oh, I hope not. Dan, I hope they're not getting rid of the hashtag. But they were going to get rid of chronological tweets. Oh, that's okay. Just to recap a little. Again, they were thinking, apparently there were rumors that an algorithm was going to unroll onto Twitter to dictate what tweets you would see in what order, much like Facebook does. So that caused a lot of people to say, okay, first you're going 10K, to a 10,000 character limit on tweets at some point. Now you want to put algorithms in here so that I'm not able to decide, or I have nothing arbitrary to say that, okay, this is what order I can see the tweets in. You're just going to pop them in based on likes and retweets. So that was the weird thing. So hashtag RIP Twitter. Jack again came on Twitter and was like, nope, we are not rolling that out next week. Which again, he didn't give a timeline as far as like, oh, we're never rolling that out. That could be coming soon to Twitter. So I would love to get your thoughts about that. Tweet them to me too @Rachel_Riley, because I'm curious to see where this heads. But as we continue, I also want to talk about this. So Twitter is also, which still will impact your timeline. They've also rolled out in the last week that Twitter ads are going to appear at the top of your feed. This doesn't seem so sketch to me since I'm used to seeing sponsored tweets throughout my timeline. I'm used to it, the whole one where like Twitter would like select users to answer a survey. I've done that and then it's like, oh, it's an ad. So that's going to be apparently happening too, where now the advertisers are going to be able to pay to make their tweet appear at the top of your feed. Does that mean it's pinned at the top of your feed? I have no clue. But we're going to see how that rolls out too. So I'm not really keen on that. I don't know if anyone else has noticed as well that now when you click on a tweet and it will create a pop-up window, which will allow you to see the original tweet and then the string of conversation below that. So pop-up windows have now shown up on Twitter. Fantastic. Which I've seen some different articles on this. Mashable had an article on it saying, oh, well, now you can see this. It's kind of neat. And then I think the next web had it saying, great, pop-up windows have now arrived at Twitter. So that's fantastic. The words pop-up window are like a death knell because nobody likes those. So again, things are happening in Twitter. I know they monetize that. I like Twitter for an advertising platform, but I'm not really sure how receptive people will be to seeing a potential tweet get pinned or stay in stasis at the top of their feed based on someone paying for that. I hope they're paying a lot, because I would not dig that. Any thoughts on the Twitter? Again, seats open. I would love to get some additional thoughts in here, or recording for what's happening in social media. If you've got some thoughts on Twitter, we are going to move on in just a little bit to some other topics like Instagram. Instagram's coming. One other thing I want to point out about Twitter, which this is actually good news, because thus far Twitter has done zip, zilch, nada as far as protection or trying to reduce bullying, reduce antagonizing, reducing terrorism efforts going on Twitter. So apparently now the Twitter Safety Council is coming forth. They're actually going to try to implement some new policies that allegedly are going to make Twitter a safer place to be. Dan, that's I have to say too, if we're talking about one of the rollouts that went out on Twitter, I still, when I see that bursting heart happen when I like something, I'm just like, okay. It's very anime, which, okay, it's fine. It makes me feel like I'm watching something magical, which I don't. And again, frankly, I don't like that. I liked the star because that made more sense. But when you have a heart, I may not heart what you say. I may just want to acknowledge it. so I totally feel that way. And Melody, that's true. It's really good that they're trying to make some headway on the regulation. And I'm not, I love organic stuff, but people do get on social media to abuse it and to abuse other people. And that has been in the news so much lately too, that Twitter is a primary recruiting tool for ISIS and for terrorist groups. So it's really incumbent upon a social media platform to have some jurisdiction over that and say, no, you know what? We're not going to allow you to use this tool as much as we can. We're not going to allow you to harm other people with it. They need to try, at least they need to get, and I hate saying that, window dressing, make a show that they're doing something, but they need to work with people, because so much good can happen through social media, but obviously with the good comes the bad, and so much bad can also occur through social media. And these platforms, these tools that are being used by everyone with internet access and an email, should be doing their part to keep it safe, to make it for the social good and for better efforts. And so it is good that they're doing that. And again, we're wrapping up Twitter here in a moment. If you have a thought about Twitter, about any of the new stuff, if I haven't covered something new happening in Twitter and you want to come on and talk about it too, bring it, because we're about to move on to another topic, which I know a couple people on here have some interest in, particularly if you're a social media manager. So I'm going to move on to the next one, and I'm going to type this in. So Instagram just rolled out multiple account switching. Look, I need to spell this correctly. I have a little pop-up that just showed up on my down right. I can't see it. Doop. Yay! All right, we're going to talk about Instagram. Erin, if you want to come on, I know you were very excited about it. I finally saw it the other night too. I was like, yes! Here, I'm going to let Erin in. Come on, girl. Are you coming?
I'm trying. Yay!
Hello, darling. Yay! All right, so I know you are excited about this. Talk about it.
Super excited about this. I mean, it's life-changing. So for me, social media, I'm a social media manager, as the same as Rachel. And I have been declining Instagram clients because of that fact. It's just too hard. It's just, I do not have the time to be logging in and out, figuring out what their password is. So it's a game changer.
Yes. Agreed. I'm like you. I've always been trying to up my own Instagram account, but I was also managing for another company, and you were stuck saying, okay, well, I better know that by heart, or at least have that password somewhere on my phone or somewhere I can get to
Right.
it online. Because you're not going to remember all the passwords, and the Instagram browser doesn't remember that for you. So
Nope.
you were stuck with having to know credentials anytime you want to switch back and forth, which is so backwards because you've got Facebook Page Manager as an app where you can easily see anything you're managing. It just made sense to say, well, why can't Instagram, which is owned by Facebook, why can't they roll this out? And they finally did. So that's fantastic. When did they roll it out? Was it this last week?
It's been like the last week. So I feel like for me, I have an iPhone, and I had to, at least I think I did, because I was not seeing it where it said like add an account.
Right.
So I had to go in and update. I just went in and updated all my apps, and then it showed up. So now I know our friend Beth said she still didn't have access. I don't know if she updated or not. I was going to, recommend her doing that.
Well, and I know Holly, our friend Holly from Social Media Advisor she's like me and she has a Droid phone.
She got it.
Yeah. And I actually didn't see it at first because she did that. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'll go do it. And I went into Play Store and it didn't say update. It just said open. I actually had to say I was uninstalling the app. But once I did that, it said, okay, update the app. And I did that. And I did finally get the ad account. The ability to do that. So that's fantastic.
I know. It's funny because I have like my business account and then I have my personal account, which I've, had for a long time. But I never, ever would post on my personal account for that very reason. So now I'm like, I can actually post stuff on my personal account now, not share weird stuff like my friend playing with a beer can the other night.
That's awesome.
Which, if you want to see it, it was funny. She was doing I don't know, there was just like a little bit of beer in the bottom, and she was like spinning the can around. So,
well, and it's so cruel. Seriously, I feel like it took them way too long to roll this out, and I don't get it.
I agree. I feel like this should have been done years ago.
Exactly, because even last year, it was 2015, and they were all saying Instagram and Pinterest are the visual, marketing tools to use this year. And all of us were stuck. We're like, well, that's great. I have to go sign out and sign back in to do anything for multiple people. And again, acknowledging the fact that there are people out here who are earning their living and enjoying it, marketing other people with your phone, and
I think about someone like Subi Zimmerman that, she has I don't even know how many different Instagram accounts that, are strictly all for her own or her own businesses. Right. And she probably has 4 or 5 Instagram accounts just for herself. Mm-hmm. I can't imagine, I guess what you would have to do in that situation is just put all your passwords as the same, and your usernames.
Right. Which, any IT person out there is just cringing right now because they're like, no, don't do that. That's terrible.
Right.
But what else could we do? It's really was too difficult to do that. So it's so good that they finally did it. I hope everybody can go and do that. And again, open the floodgates. Instagram is very visual. There's a lot of it's got its own parameters to it, its own best practices. You can go #haywire on Instagram and versus other tools. And so it's great that now companies and brands can say, okay, well, I'm not going to do that. I need somebody else to go do that. And now we can do that easier. So it's a huge relief. Huge.
So now we just need Instagram to make it easier for scheduling.
Yeah. I don't know that they're going to do it. I don't think they are. Because I feel like it's one of those, it's like Snapchat. It's like we want you in the moment. We want you spontaneous. It's like, that's great. But I actually have yet, and I know you've used Hootsuite, I have yet to use Hootsuite to schedule an Instagram post.
I have not had any luck using Hootsuite. Really? Beth has. So I don't know if I was having issues with the connection integration between, because basically you have to go set it up on your desktop and then, connect them from your phone, and then it's supposed to send you notification with everything in it, and then you just go hit post. But I have yet to have it work. I probably need to try again. And that Dan mentioned over there, Buffer, which I actually use Buffer, so maybe I should try that one out.
Dan, does Buffer let you schedule an Instagram post? Because I don't use Buffer. I tried it once and decided it was not for me. That's okay. It can be for other people. But if they do, that's what I may do. I know we both, you have homework today because you're going to do some cool stuff on Periscope later. But maybe I'll try that later today and say, well, let me just give this a shot and see if I can actually schedule and successfully execute an Instagram post.
Yeah.
Well, Dan, if you want to use Instagram, apparently there are at least 2 of us here who could help get you started. So please message us about that.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, I'm actually going to move on to another topic, which you're allowed, if you want to stay in or not, is totally cool. But I want to talk about Facebook. So Facebook just rolled out let me pop in my new question here. Hopefully this will just, yes. So Facebook just rolled this out in the last few days that, which I am so ecstatic about this because I still see some application for having a public response to a public post on your Facebook page, but they have now are rolling out the feature to where you can privately message back to a public post. And I haven't tried this at all yet, but I think it's fantastic because I used to work for a health insurance company. And I'm going to let Melody on here because she's got some stuff to say. Let me just let her come on. I'll introduce her. Melody, come forth. I know you're trying to come on. It's like when Aaron was coming on. It's like a big tease black box. All right.
I know.
Okay. If you need, okay, there she is. Hi.
Yay.
What's up?
Oh, now can you hear me? Not used to this mic.
That's okay. So yeah, we're talking, and this is Melody Jones of Social Media Management Services, but who we actually just talked to last week. It's awesome. But so yeah, Facebook apparently has rolled this out or is rolling it out in the process where a Facebook page can now, when they see a public post on the page, can privately message somebody else. Melody, what are your thoughts on that?
Yes. My thoughts are this. Part of what we do in social media, all of us, is reputation management. And you never not want to acknowledge anybody that posts maybe a less than positive response. We know that. You never, don't just let those sit there. But what this all, so you can, I think you can do it 2 ways. You can go ahead and acknowledge publicly, we're sorry you had that experience, but you can message right then and there from that very post privately to say, here's how we can help you resolve your issue. And it is going to be so much easier to manage it that way.
So much.
Okay, so I while you were chatting, I was looking at one of my pages just to see. And so, okay, and what's funny is that I was trying to respond to you, Melody. Oh. So if I click maybe it has to be a comment, but I just went.
Maybe.
So you commented on something the other day, and if I go hover over your response, message is grayed out, and it says pages can't send private messages to other pages.
Okay, that's interesting.
So now I'm looking for another comment. Like I'm trying to find where somebody's commented.
Privately? Yes.
Okay, so I'm looking at another one. So you can reply to a person.
Yeah.
You can't reply to pages, but you can reply to a person.
That's okay. Good to know because there's a difference with that for sure. I have had other pages post spammy stuff on pages. So I don't know if you would just message them. But anyway, that's good to know. I hadn't tested that yet.
Well, and to your point, what I want to make 2 points. One is it's good policy for anyone who's got a Facebook page to have in your About section on your Facebook page your policy for, hey, if we see a post like this, we will have to remove it. It's always good because then you can fall back on that and say, you always come back. We had to hide or delete your post because, as you can see in our About section, this is our policy. Right. Refer to it, and that way you cover your butt pretty much. But I completely agree with you that part of social media being an advantage, it really is PR in action. Also happening with customer service tied to that is because if someone does comment with a question or a complaint or, you know, an opinion or something like that, your public response to that and how quick that happens and accurate and all that stuff, the tone of it definitely speaks loads to your brand. But that said, you also might have reason to privately comment back to that person and say, okay, well, for your protection or any other reasons for this to be private, just know we're responding to you and here you go. And we took this offline for you. And that has always in the past been a problem because you're like, hi, I'm going to respond to you. Please email me at this, or please message the page so we can take this offline for you. And now you're skipping that step. You're able to go directly to them. And I think that's fantastic.
It is. It's much more user-friendly.
It is very much. And we'll make it much easier for, again, the social media marketers in the room to be able to manage brands easily. And it really is just a great customer service venue. Hey, Lucy.
And just the fact that you can just take care of it right then and there, it just is fantastic.
It really is. And it's been interesting because I know, like, when you've got, say, a troll or someone who just persists in posting on the page, and you can hide their posts where they don't realize their post isn't being seen anymore, but they're, you know, you're able to hide it from the timeline. I think just adding this versatility to a brand to be able to allow them those options is great, because you still have those ways to say, you know, message page or email me or call our customer service number. But now you have the versatility to say, well, I'll publicly respond, but I'm also going to make sure I protect that user as needed. Hello, Craig. Welcome. Ladies, any other things about now? Have we heard anything else about Facebook? Have you guys been trying Facebook Live video? Because I can't. I want to hear all about it.
Oh, I have, but I've only done it once. I need to do it again.
Yeah. Erin's the only one I've known. I don't seem to have that option.
Do you have a Droid?
Yes. Desktop wise. Now I probably do have it on my iPhone, I'm sure.
So yeah, all it is like the little head with the, what did you call it, Rachel?
Oh,
you called it something.
Radial, kind of a radial, but
yeah.
It's like,
yeah. Holly, our social sister she said it was on desktop, so I keep watching for it to be on desktop, which is more convenient for me in the daytime. You know, just during work when I'm doing work on the computer, and I haven't been able to see it. It's not on there. It's not desktop, so I'm sort of disappointed.
Would you need to update your app? I wonder if that would work.
I don't know. Maybe that's having talked about Instagram as go in there and update that. That's what Erin discovered. If you're not seeing being able to switch between accounts, maybe you should update your app. That's a good idea.
Yep.
So maybe that's what it would take. But I've not tried it, but I will. I want to try it.
So I don't even go live from my I don't see the go live from the desktop. I definitely have it.
Okay.
Do you guys
Yep. You can look at my phone.
For those who have used, okay, so she's showing it. It's that
little thing over.
Is it bottom right? Point to it. Okay. I'll look.
So that's the Facebook Live. Now
I've noticed that the Denver news channels have been doing that on Facebook. The ones that I follow have been going live, and they did quite a bit with Super Bowl Broncos stuff. So more and more people are utilizing it. It has really great application.
Dan asked if it's different than Periscope. I have to rely on you guys to offer that up because I'm not sure.
Erin has a little bit more experience with that. I don't know. Well, it's a talking head, kind of like Periscope is.
I mean, I guess my big thing about it is that you're going to reach different people. Then, you have one set of followers on Facebook and you have a completely other set of followers on Twitter, typically, right? Mm-hmm. You may have some overlap, but you're just going to reach different people. Other than that, I would say it's pretty much the same. Except
Are you
for
able to save your video? Is your video saved? Is it what happens to it after you do the live video on Facebook?
I do not know.
That's a good question. I don't know either. I
would hope
you need to figure that out.
Hold on, I'm trying to. Okay, so this is where we went live. I'm wondering. Oh yeah, so I mean, I'm on my desktop now, but there's an option to save video.
Nice.
In the drop down.
Oh, good.
Okay, and Craig.
So I was going to say this. Is I don't think, and I looked at this the other day. I want to look again, but I could not go live from my business page. Nope, and I still can't.
Okay, so it's personal profiles
So
only.
I can only go live from my personal page. Now I don't know if at some point that will change.
That should change. I know
my page is verified, so
yeah, and I know, especially if it's verified. I know today 9 News here in Denver did live video of the whole Denver Broncos parade. We won, by the way. So they did that live from their page. So I would hope that brands would be able to get that. I mean, God, Facebook, come on, stop taking everything from the brands and give us a little help here. And
right,
I agree.
Let us have some live video.
I don't want to do it all from my personal page if I'm doing business stuff. That just does.
Yeah, I know.
It makes sense to do it from personal. So I don't know why they're not allowing pages to do it. That
maybe
makes
they're
no
just
sense.
slow about rolling it out. That seems silly to me because I mean, a lot
they
of
probably
people,
want us to pay for it.
well, and it's and some people like I'm one of those people. I do share stuff from my Facebook page, but my Facebook account, my profile, that's like my lockdown sanctuary place. So I would probably want to go create another profile that is strictly professional use to do that, and I think that's restricted, and I don't like that. Anyway. Dan is not seeing it either, so maybe both of you need to do an update and see if it comes.
Yeah.
Or
it may not be rolled out yet because
might not be rolled out.
And what day I got?
That was a while. That was like last week.
It was
something.
last week when we did our lab.
Yeah.
So I've had it for a week.
Yeah, I guess last week. Yeah, I'm not sure it's rolled out to me either, which is, I'm a very old account. They think they would.
Okay, Dan says
I'm like
it's updated,
grandma.
so yeah, it must be slowly coming to theaters near you. The Facebook live video.
Yeah, I was super excited when I saw that I could go live.
I check every day. I check every day to see if it's on Android. I'm just like, God.
Dang it.
It's annoying.
Well,
you're doing it alphabetically by first name. Are they really, Craig?
That's so. Why don't they?
So then that would make sense because I'm an E.
Lucy.
Craig.
Yeah.
Say
Lucy, I think I noticed my Instagram update like at 11 p.m. last night. I'm like, I'm not going to use it right now, but I have it. I'm so excited.
Just wants to mess with the Zanes of the world. I'm sitting there calculating the fact that Aaron's an E and I'm an M. I'm like, wait a minute.
Well,
and then that wouldn't make sense either because Dan would be before me. Good try, Craig.
An algorithm for how they're rolling it out. They are all about those algorithms. That's all I got to say.
Oh, yeah.
I was doing that just because Melody said that. Oh, yes. Well, I am somewhat gullible. I might believe everything you say, Craig.
Do it.
Whatever you type, I could believe it. So, you know.
Joke. Craig, you can come on in if you want. Call in. He's
come in.
I thought maybe Craig had insight.
Yeah, I was going to be.
For those of you that don't know, Craig is founder of Relay That.
Oh, cool. Well, if he comes on and he just shows this picture of a dangling carrot, I'm going to be upset because that's what he's doing. He's just moving us along right now. That's fine. There he is. See?
Because Craig is following the rules. He's following the rules. And there's blab rules, Craig, and you're engaging. So now you get to come on camera.
I got the rules.
I couldn't resist that because I was looking at your name. I said Aaron, Melody, Rachel, and I was like, I'll see if I can get him on this.
You got me. And now I don't think I like you now, Craig.
Oh,
so there.
Well, I'll try and redeem myself.
Please do.
All right. So, by the way, I just found out that with all 4 of us in this seat, if I try to answer a question, it will not pin in the middle. So this is good to know.
Oh.
I was actually speculating about this last week, I think, with you, Melody, maybe.
I think we were wondering.
That's right.
Now we know.
Chuck is we are actually talking about Facebook live stream, which some of us, even iPhone users, may not have. The 3 people in this blab don't have it. I'm a Droid user, but 2 of the iPhone people don't have it yet, so it's getting rolled out.
Not that I can see. I don't.
It's
Totally.
like, I think for some people too, it's like one of those things you really want, even if you have no intention of using it.
Right. You just want to have it.
Right.
I mean, don't they know who I am? I roll it out to me. Don't you know who I am?
Dan, let's.
Well, that's
Anybody
anybody
that
that on the Instagram not having the multiple accounts, and then I got it.
Did you know who we are?
Kimberly has.
Any of us that
I simply
manage
applied
social
for
media.
to be approved on Facebook as a what is it called when you get the little blue check?
Verified.
Yeah, I applied
There
for
you go.
verification, and they sent me back something that said you're not of a certain notoriety or whatever. So I was like, all right.
You're not notorious enough. Notorious.
Your notoriety.
Well, when you do that, this is a good question. When do you do that for your personal page to get verified, or did you have to go set up like a celebrity status page?
I didn't think about that. Maybe if I would have set myself up as a public figure, maybe it would have been different. But I do have an account that has that, so I don't know what kind of algorithms they run through. I would assume that they have something that sees how many posts and how active you post, as well as how many people engage with your content. And I definitely have some, I have a public page as well as a business page, but I don't have time to interact with them that much. So I probably didn't make the mark.
Right.
Well, someday we have to reach for something.
I feel like that's such a challenge with I know, other people that are like in the social media industry that have faced that challenge of like, and the people I'm thinking of off the top of my head are Kevin Kneble and Tamara McCleary, but it's they have their personal page and then they've got like their celebrity brand page, and they struggle with because they have the cap on the 5,000 friends. Sorry, my phone's ringing. But I feel like Facebook needs to do away with that. I don't know that it will happen.
You know what?
Real quick, I want to.
Oh, go ahead.
Yes.
Go ahead, Rachel.
No, you finish your thought, then we'll cut over to Dan's question quick after you.
I was going to say I'm approaching 5,000 just because it has. I'm not patting myself on the back. I just love friending everybody, and everybody that says something interesting, I'm like, you're my friend. But the whole reason I say that is because I really want something like Manage Flitter that shows me these people have never commented on anything I've done. Mm-hmm. These people, you have sent direct message to. I hope someone creates some sort of an app that sorts your friends so that you can weed them out. And I don't know if this is a true statement, but I've heard that when you post content, it sends it randomly to a certain number of people, and that's your one chance to get that content. And I've heard if you have more friends, that you have a bigger chance of flopping with that engagement. So I'm like, I better pare that back. I don't pay too much attention to it, but these are just things that I've kind of heard over this past couple months.
Interesting. That's interesting. Well, and I want to let's cover over to Dan's question. How do we feel about using third-party Facebook apps such as Friendly Plus? I liked how they blocked ads and suggested pages. I'm not familiar with that app. I've used Friend Plus Me, which is like one of those you can post to one platform and it'll immediately post to the other platforms, which is not advised best practice, by the way. But I'm not familiar with that app. Is anyone familiar with a third-party Facebook app like that?
No, I'm not.
Sorry, Dan. We not familiar.
Sorry. So if anybody else knows, we could hop off and.
Yeah, boot me off when you need to.
Also, real quick, I did want to point out, because since we are talking about what's happening in social media, I wanted to push this out. Mark Zuckerberg, apparently he's doing this Facebook, it's called Millimeter Wave Tech, which is like their endeavor to still try to get Wi-Fi, really fast Wi-Fi. They were saying you could like download a movie, a 2-hour movie, in like 3 seconds. I want that Wi-Fi. I know. So, right? But they're trying to roll that out to different, like I think it's like public housing areas and stuff like that, so people can actually still, use the internet. And man, talk about that speed! I love that he's really got into the tech space and be like, let's help make this happen, and philanthropical reasons and stuff like that. I love that.
There's a startup there's a startup here in Boston that I almost bought into. It's called Starry. And they're doing the same thing. They're actually pulling satellite information, and it's a system, I think, that you put outside your window, and it has a very cool looking, forward-thinking design box. It's like a triangular box, and they're doing that same thing. The idea is that instead of building infrastructure in all the cities, they're going to start pulling gigabit internet out of the air. Imagine going from 50 megabytes per second up to a gigabit. But they still are building out the structure. And I don't have all the tech in terms of the founders, but it's definitely backed by somebody that has done something with tech before and tries to disrupt the industry. But it's STARRY if anybody wants to read about it. And I think they're starting right here in Boston. So very similar to what you're doing, maybe not with the philanthropical part, but kind of interesting what's going to be happening with that. We're definitely not. I mean, there's going to be a day where we pull electricity out of the air, and you won't even have to charge stuff anymore. It's going to be amazing.
Well, considering how much live video is
I can't wait for that day.
2016, we're going to need all that bandwidth because there's going to be a lot of live video going on. Just sucking up.
That's true.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So kind of going along with that point, I heard a stat yesterday that they, like experts, and I don't know who the experts are, but experts are predicting that by the year 2020, we'll have 7 billion people on Earth, and 100% of them will be online.
Whoa.
Is that? I'm just thinking like, like in the jungles in Africa, they're going to be online.
That seems amazing. Well, if he's saying it like it is, where you can pull the internet out of the air pretty much, or whatever, it's like, I just would be interested, well, what device are they using? I mean, is it going to be like, well, we're all now born with branded mobile phones in our brains when we are coming out of the womb.
Right.
And then that's how we're all connected. And onto the sci-fi thrillers.
That strikes me as a little Big Brother.
Right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's
A little bit Big Brother. People.
That's a little Matrixy. I'm not sure I'm a real big proponent of that.
Yeah, not sure about that.
Yeah.
Back to Instagram briefly, maybe not so briefly, you never know. They are rolling out to advertisers 60-second ads. 60 seconds, which seems a bit long because right now, what's the limit on a video you can even do on Instagram? Isn't it like 10 to 15 seconds tops?
15 seconds.
Yeah.
15, yeah, I think 15.
So now advertisers are going to get 60 seconds. And I know Dan already said, well, I ain't going on Instagram then.
That's too long.
Yeah. I would
agree.
never ever recommend somebody pay to do that. You're gonna turn people away. People will
Have any of you done Instagram advertising?
No, but talk about I've heard it's expensive.
Oh, really?
That's what I've heard. I heard it's real. And that was actually at Denver Startup Week last year. One of the panels I went to, they were talking about, social media and using social for marketing and branding. And Instagram had rolled out advertising, and they were all saying it's supposed to be hella expensive in the realm of LinkedIn advertising expensive, which is expensive. So I've not yet tried it, but I've also been too cheap to try it. So. But yeah, 60 seconds is too long.
It is. Well, Rachel, I'm going to pop off of here in case somebody wants to come on. So
thank you for
having me, girly.
Thank you for joining today.
Nice to meet you, Craig.
Nice to meet you, Melody.
Hope to see you soon. Okay. Bye.
Bye, Melody.
Craig, what movie did you just share with us in the sideline? Is that safe for work?
Yeah. It's so you were talking about people having. I don't know if you're into sci-fi movies. This is an older movie with Rob. You were talking about people having embedded, chips in their head or whatever. This movie talks about that. It's very interesting. where it's called Final Cut, and the idea and the concept is that you have a chip in your head and it records everything you do, and at the end of your life, they play it at your funeral. And there are sanctioned people that actually go in and are responsible of having this private data. And I won't spoil the movie, but it brings up a lot of moral and ethical things of what do you actually remember? Was the car red, or like it plays on memory and stuff like that? Was the car red or blue that you remember as a child? As well as, if you had that power, would you cut out all the bad things of a person that they did in life? And it's very interesting to me, like, kind of as I think about it, and as you said that, just the fact that our timelines are so curated with the best parts of our lives for the most part, except for people that complain all the time and do passive aggressive posts. But, for the most part, we're just, there's an entire movement of people having apps that, massage your face and make you look great and all that different stuff. And I just think it's really interesting, the path that we're on of the amount of streaming data that is being recorded and the things you say. And I think about that stuff a lot because I didn't even Skype until 6 months ago. And now here I am caching probably, half hour of me just jabbering on. And my comfort level of being comfortable with doing that it's very weird to me because I wasn't born into the internet. I remember getting email back in the day. And I remember that moment when I got that. So it's really weird to me to know what's going to happen, and the fact that everything is recorded. So
I think that is so yes to all the things you're saying. I've seen and I understand. I definitely want to talk about Snapchat. So hold that thought. I definitely understand people wanting to filter. I have, they're probably not watching, but I've hidden posts of family members because I'm like, well, at least I'm still your friend. I just don't have to see what you post. But even like there are browsers, that have a Donald Trump blocker on there. So you won't ever see feeds of, news about Donald Trump or whatever. And I get that, but I agree that it's really, I guess I'm concerned because you have to have critical thinking, to succeed, and to hide absolutely everything that makes you not happy. Seems like you're going to just have a very false existence. And I get the consumer focus of that to say, well, let's make sure you're happy with your online experience. Well, you're not supposed to be happy all the time. It's just not the way you're built to be. It'd be great, be fantastic, but I think that that's a dangerous area to get into. Erin, what do you think?
Oh, I agree completely. You've seen I feel like Instagram is a prime example of that, where you can crop and what Craig, you were saying, you can manipulate your, how many wrinkles show, how white your teeth are, you can even, there's apps that you can add makeup if you don't have makeup on. You've seen you've seen where somebody posts a picture of them in their room or whatever, and if you actually saw the whole room, it's a total disaster, but this one little bit is perfect. And it's not about being perfect, and we talk about it all the time. It's being authentic and being real, and like you said, Rachel, not everything is sunshine and rainbows every day. So
right.
I think it's important to show the real you. And I definitely think there's another side to that as well, where there's people that all they do is complain online. And I don't want to follow that either. I think that a healthy balance of the good and bad, and
Right. And I like that Blab, and I don't know where Blab will end up. It's still in beta, for crying out loud. But I like that Blab.
When's it going to get out of beta?
I don't know. Maybe what's after what's its alpha, beta? What's the next one? Greek people can help. Something. I
don't know what the C is, but it's Delta, I think.
Yeah.
That's sad. I was like, I know Delta.
I don't know what the C is.
Yeah, I don't know.
I know, really. I thought I was smart. I like that Blab. I mean, there are no filters. This is you. You know, you have to come on and be your real self. I really have liked where live video has really promoted more of the authenticity back, because, you know, up till now, yes, you can do an Instagram picture, take a filter on it, post that. That's the real me. But live video is saying, no. If you want to be on live video, you're going to be the real you, whether it's on Periscope or if it's on Snapchat. And yes, you can do filters on Snapchat, which we'll segue into a moment. But for the most part, this has to be the real you. And it's just you and your personality and what you know on a video. And I like that. I like that you have to be real. I hope they don't change that. You know, it's just hard to get around the fact that a lot of people, you know, are still trying to manage that brand, and even if it's a fake persona. But I think it's a better trend that we're on. Hopefully this will overcome the fake part of the trend people are trying to be on, but that they're going to be more authentic going forward. Let's talk about Snapchat, because I like it. I like to talk about it. Are you guys on Snapchat?
Yes.
I have an account, but I haven't used it.
Yes.
So, yes, Dan posted in the sidebar, it seems to appeal to a younger demographic. Absolutely. However, I know I posted this on LinkedIn last week. The Super Bowl came to a seven-figure agreement with Snapchat for Super Bowl snaps and doing some promotion there and advertising. So it's a real thing. I know I feel like I see a new brand, like a legit news brand, NPR's on Snapchat, Wall Street Journal. Then you've got Discovery Channel, cooking shows, which makes total sense, and stuff like that. I don't know if TMZ is on there, but I haven't seen it. There are Discover brands on there, and I have connected with several marketers on there, which is fun. It's very goofy. Yes, some used to find the branding to be a bit misleading, especially one of their largest target markets, preteens and teens. It was interesting. I actually got a friend request, you know, because I have my Snap code on my Twitter profile picture, and I got a friend request from another user, and I accepted it, and it turned out to be what looked like a teen, and her whole Snap story the whole day was her using the word shit in different ways, and I was like, great, I'm going to let you go your way, and I will go mine, but so that really was interesting to me, because, you know, that's the other side of Snapchat, or a side, where you've got just immature people on there trying to, you know, make moments that are stupid. So I don't know what you guys, Aaron, I know you have thoughts about Snapchat because you're on it, but maybe not really sold on it yet.
Yeah, I'm on it. I do see the benefit of it. As far as like the stories go for the brand, I'm on it personally. I probably have like a couple snaps that my friends sent. I've connected with some other people that are in the same field. And I've seen their snaps, their stories. I guess in my opinion, I feel like it's somewhat of a waste of my time. Like I could be doing something better. Like I could be on Facebook Live, or I could be on Periscope, or I could be on Blab. And I feel like for me personally, I feel like I'm getting more exposure, I guess, to the people that I want to be connected with in those platforms versus Snapchat.
Right.
I mean, my target is not, teens and 20-year-olds.
Right.
My target is business owners, and they're probably not on Snapchat. I mean, they're probably not, a lot of them probably aren't here either, but I just love this forum.
Yep.
So
I love what Spencer says in the sidebar. Snapchat, all your work will disappear soon enough. Because it does. It only sticks around. You can save your snaps. I actually, and Craig, I'm going to ask you about this in a minute too, just see what your thoughts are on it. Even if you haven't used it yet, but everyone's got an opinion. I actually did my newsletter video last week, was entirely on Snapchat. I just did a snap and I'd download it, and snap and download it. And then I basically just got them off and put them together in YouTube, which I could use a different tool, but I was like, I'll just try this out. And I just did that because I'm like, well, let me see how this could work. If you're doing several snaps in a row to create that story. I feel like There are brands using it, but they're putting a great deal of strategy behind it to make a good Snap story. They have to plan out what it's like planning a movie, where you're planning out what each segment's going to look like and how it's going to lead someone along a path of that story. But not everybody's doing that. I'm not doing that. I want to do more of that. But like you said, you have to pick your poison and what's going to get the most bang for your buck. And I agree. I mean, not everybody's going to find that to be the platform for their biggest bang for their buck. And Craig, I'll let you opine if you wish.
I appreciate that. I wrote on the side there that, every time I see one of these platforms pop up, I just see a drove of people coming out and turning it into how that people can leverage their leverage X platform for business. And, and then the real snake oily type people will say, you can make this much money in a couple months on utilizing this platform for a business. And I think, in all honesty, to be authentic about this, the thing that I have learned and the thing that I've studied is that the question that doesn't get asked is that people don't ask where their audience is, and they don't do research before they pick a platform. They hear from people that they have to be everywhere, which is impossible. I think it's possible if you already have a following somewhere and or you already have made your money in the business and you're already successful. Then you can go everywhere and kind of share those stories and have something to talk about. But I think the people that I hang around with and notice are the people that are bootstrapping, hustling, screw the 9-to-5 people. That's like the general vibe of what our culture is right now, because people are waking up and saying, it's not about millennials or anything, but there's this group of people that are, not our parents, that are saying, they're waking up, at least this is what it was like for me. I was realizing that it's not about MLM anymore. And it's about this idea that you truly can do anything, from launching a $70,000 Kickstarter campaign, selling potato salad recipes, all the way to raising $26 million to print a 3D hand. And there's opportunity out there for everybody. But I think with that comes noise of not realizing where you need to be, where your audience is, and not asking the questions like, why am I here? What are the goals I'm hoping to accomplish? And as a startup this past year, that's what I've really been trying to do, is fine tune those verticals of where's my audience at? Why do they care? What magazines do they read? And kind of defining that before I make assumptions of Snapchat's a new channel, I should be on that, and leveraging or putting my time into that. And then the last thing I'll say is if I want to be on these channels, I feel like I have to build a team that helps me be on these channels. So I'll go over to Instagram and post a photo of something that's really, like, I love taking photos, but not all of those are necessarily for business. They're just things that I like to explore my creativity. So I use the channels for different reasons. And I think what I'm feeling is that the ones that I'm leveraging for business, I've got to have a team of people that are going to help me craft the story, do the blog post to Twitter, automate the churn of it all. And what tools am I going to use? That's taken me quite a while to learn all that. And I have so much more to learn. So I don't know. I guess it was a little soapboxish, but that was kind of where my head is.
I agree. I think I know as a social media marketer, usually I do feel like it's incumbent upon me. Well, I should go at least check out this tool and see what is it? How does this work? So if I'm asked, I can say, yes, I totally see application for you. No, I totally don't see application for you. I have dabbled in Snapchat and, tried to use it pretty consistently for about a week. I'm like, okay, I can see where this is going, or at least where I think it's going. That's the other conundrum I think that we enter into, which is evidenced by this very show. What's happening in social media changes almost hourly. And, next week, Facebook could go nosedive. I don't predict that, but it could go bye-bye. And, Twitter might rise to the top, or LinkedIn releases something just amazing and everyone's like, flock to it and go to it. You just really can't predict where it's going to end up. Who knows if Snapchat could be in 2 years the primary business branding model. I have no idea.
Right. Well, I mean, like you think about it. I mean, where's MySpace today?
Right.
Right. I just wanted to. Yeah. I wanted to point out Nikki's comment on the marketer in me doesn't understand investing the time and not being able to repurpose the content. I think, I think that's, there's no point. Why are you going to waste your time if it just goes away? Right. And then the other thing, to your point, Craig, and this is something I'm sure, Rachel, you do the same thing, but when I'm talking to clients or in training or doing anything, I basically tell anybody I'm working with, if they're just getting started on social media, find one platform and focus on it. There's no reason for you. And I think who Todd and Tammy had said, I just put all my or put my business on every platform.
Yeah.
And while I do say it's not a bad idea to go claim your name on every platform, just so when you are ready for it, you've got that access and somebody doesn't go steal your name from you. But I really don't think that, you need to go and be active on every single thing. There's so much out there. I mean, I do social media and I can't find the time to do every platform.
Agreed.
So
no, that's all so true. And it is. And again, I hope that, rather than spend a lot of time and investment, money is time and time is money, and trying to spend all that on, let's just be everywhere. Look to people who could tell you, authoritatively, nope, you are B2B, you should be on LinkedIn, possibly Blab or Periscope to do some thought leadership and blogging, versus if you're, a different, more consumer-based, storefront. Yes, we have a Facebook page, have a Twitter account and stuff like that, and Foursquare, which I know we have thoughts about Foursquare, but stuff like that, to know where the platforms are, which 2 or 3, if there's that many, that you should focus on to be on. But to seek that from the experts to, and we've got definitely be on Blab, always on Blab, which I agree, I like Blab. But I think that's crucial to know where to put yourself and there's nothing wrong with trying one at a time and then just slowly building and be like, wow, let's just roll into this. Nothing's wrong with Foursquare. I love Foursquare and Swarm.
Go ahead, Rachel.
No, you finish up and then we'll finish up. Go ahead.
I just think, what this past 10 years of, not trying to go too deep here with some of the stuff, but I mean, just the idea of going on to Candy Crush and having that satisfaction of having an instant reward. We've become a society now where, as social media managers, I think that you guys are giving out amazing advice. The challenge, though, is we see all these people that are doing it right and are accumulating the followers, and we hear the success stories where we didn't hear those before, of the person that has 100,000 followers and is getting paid $6,000 a pop to put on, to wear a purse or whatever, and, is an Instagram star. And, we've kind of moved into this instant gratification society where we almost feel like we've failed if we don't have enough likes on our page or enough followers or enough engagement. We see the stuff that goes viral by these machines that people have set up, and they're taking content from other people and just reposting it off of Reddit. And we feel bad when we only get 2 likes and they have 1 million likes. And I feel like just the chatter that I hear from a lot of entrepreneurs is they are constantly chasing that gratification of having big followings and the 6-figure launch. And there's a lot of pressure behind that people put on each other, to the point where I think people feel bad about failure. And I think the other side of that coin is you should be thankful that you have failed fast, but have learned from it. And I'm sure there's plenty of people that talk about this, but it's definitely something that I've tried to do with my business in terms of get the genuine feedback of what people really want, fail fast, test it, and just learn from that, and actually kind of pat yourself on the back in terms of making progress, I guess, versus feeling the failure of not having the big moment or, the 6-figure launch right away. I don't know, I feel like a lot of people smoke screen their success. The ones that are successful, there's a few out there that I've followed and watched, and they don't really tell the true backstory. So I think there's a lot of peacocking around that. And I'm kind of been learning who the authentic people are as I go through this. So for what it's worth.
Erin, do you have any last thoughts on that?
I do. So one of the things that I have been hearing a lot recently, and I think that it applies in this situation, is the fact that just because there are people out there that, like Craig said, appear to be doing it right, appear to be, they have all these followers, they have all these likes and engagement and all that, it doesn't necessarily mean that you shouldn't do it too,
right.
If that's what you want to do. Because the thing is while they appeal to whoever they appeal to, you don't know, who they don't appeal to, and what, the audience that you could bring in that are looking for someone, and, someone just like you. And if you don't put yourself out there, then they can't ever find you.
Yes.
Right?
Agreed.
Yeah. And I love that, Craig, what you said about, I always love my saying is fail forward fast. So same thing. If you're not putting yourself out there and you're not making mistakes, then
yeah,
what are you doing?
I think, I'll just say one sentence about it. I mean, I hang around so many people, and they get stuck in this idea of perfection of what they're putting out as a personal brand, that they constantly go into groups and say, do you like this image of this purple word, or do you like this image of this lavender word, or this image of this slightly pink word? And they're so afraid of failing that they never even get to the point of trying, because they purposely put themselves into this perpetual cycle of like asking questions because they don't really want the answer. Right. I don't know. I just see it so much in all the groups I'm doing right now, when the reality is some of the people that are most successful are the ones that just go in and truly add value to people and find their tribe, as they always talk about it, in their niche. And, I'm not even in the world. I can't even imagine what it's like for you ladies that are in social media, and, just how much noise that you have in your head of everything that's going around with different clients and stuff like that. I'm just looking at it from the outside, and I see that. So I can't even imagine. It's probably tenfold on what you're doing.
Well, and just to, again, we're beyond 4, so I'm going to wrap it up with this, but I'll post this on the bottom too, that we have more blabs every Tuesday at 3. So come back. But last thing about that, just to tie that back and kind of come full circle, when you do, I think that when brands are asking too many questions and just kind of like, what can I do to make you happy? They are leaving that authenticity behind. And I always love the line from The West Wing. You tell someone to tell the truth because if nothing else, it's the easiest thing to remember. You can always fall back on the true self.
Yes.
I don't have to lie. If I know who I really am, I'll always answer the same way, So, but I think that, and you talked about tribe, which I will close with that, is that if you find your tribe, you reach out and try a couple things on social media and you find that group, it doesn't have to be 100,000 followers. It might be a couple hundred or even a couple thousand, but it might be small. And if those are your faithful community and your tribe and you can engage with them authentically and consistently, you don't need more than that. You might get more than that. And you might do it from not even trying to get more than that. But as long as you're paying attention to that tribe, that community you've built and cultivated, that's all you need. And if that's what's getting you by and making you successful, build on that. And you might get more followers, but why do you need more if you have really good followers and you have a really good community already? So all of that to say.
Can I just add one last thing? It takes time. If you get online, people expect results overnight, and that's not the case. I suppose you can get results overnight if you want to pay for them and have people that, are in India that never log in, or Bangladesh, or wherever it is that they have the, the like farms. You want people that, like we talked about, that are part of your tribe, that that care about what you're saying and what content you're providing them. So,
right. Well, thank you guys too for helping with today's content. This is so great. Like I said, I will be the only talking head, but it's so much better when I'm not. So I love it when you guys are on. But I've recorded today and we'll have this on my website. It's really.social and we'll have that posted there. And please come back next Tuesday at 3. We're going to be on with @social_Ben, and we're going to talk about the when and where of social media. We're going to talk about automation and the evils or good things of automation. I think there's a fine balance to be achieved there, and a lot of different schools of thought on that, and tools, which, Erin, you should totally be back for that because I know you know tools.
Yes, but, I love tools, that's for sure.
Well, thank you guys for coming. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording in a moment here, but I appreciate you joining the Laugh and Learn. I laughed and learned a lot, and I hope you did too. But thanks for coming on.
Great. Thanks for having us, Rachel.
Bye.
Thanks, Rachel.
Bye.